So today I'll be proving this theorem. Okay. So what is this theorem? That in a simple graph with at least two vertices has at least two vertices of same degree. So today I'll prove this theorem. Okay, that in any simple graph which has at least two vertices, then that simple graph will have definitely two vertices having the same degree. The proof is extremely simple but logical, so let me prove it. So the proof goes like this. So let's just write everything. So let G be a simple graph. Let G be a simple graph with n vertices. So n is greater or equals to 2. So I am assuming that my graph is a simple one with number of vertices at least 2. So that is the hypothesis of the theorem. So because G is a simple graph, then G does not has loops, does not have G does not has any loops or parallel edges. So you know this is the definition of a simple graph. Because my graph G is a simple one, so my graph does not has any loops or parallel edges. Okay, so I may say that therefore the degree of any vortex is same as the number of edges adjacent to, sorry, number of, yeah, I should write like this. I should write number of vertices adjacent to it. Adjacent to it. What I mean by this, I'll tell you. You see, for a simple in a simple graph, so degree of any vortex V will be same as the number of vertices adjacent to that vortex, because there is no loops, no parallel edges. So I'll just count the vertices. So how many vertices are adjacent to V? 3. That many, that will be the degree. So 3 degree. Because like suppose if the graph is not simple, suppose it has a parallel edge, the number of vertices being 3, right, adjacent to V, but you see, but the degree of V is 4. So this is not the case. In our case, the degree of the vortex is same as the number of vertices adjacent to it. So I'll just count the vertices adjacent to it. That will give me the degree. Am I clear or not with this line what I wrote? So in a simple graph, I can at least do that. Okay, that I don't have to count the edges or something like that. No, I'll just count the number of vertices. That will give me the degree of a vortex. So remember that. So this will be very important for us. Now G has n vertices. G has n vertices. Okay. Thus, a vortex V will have at most degree. What will be the maximum degree of any vortex? What will the maximum degree of any vortex? I had discussed this in the last class for a simple graph. What is the maximum degree for any vortex? Very good. It is n minus 1. So, because G has n many vertices, a vortex V will have at most n minus 1 degree. Okay. Hence, for any vortex V of the graph G, degree of V is one of the following integers, is one of the following integers. So it can be at least it can be 0, degree can be 0, 1, 2, 3, but highest one can be n minus 1. So these are the only possibilities for the degree of any vortex in my simple graph. Degree of some vortex can be 0, some vortex can be 1, some vortex can be 2, some vortex can be 3, and so on, and the maximum can be n minus 1. So you choose any vortex, okay, what you will find that its degree will be one of these numbers. Is it clear, justifiable, fully? Now I claim something. My claim is that if I have a vortex having degree 0, try to understand the point. This is a very nice thing. If I have a vortex having degree 0, listen very carefully. If I have a vortex having degree 0, then I cannot have any vortex having degree n minus 1. Okay, if I have a vortex having degree 0, I can guarantee you that there will be no vortex whose degree can be n minus 1. Is it justifiable? Just try to think why. I'll prove it, don't worry, but just you try to think. The basic idea being this: suppose this is not the part of the book, I'm doing just like that. Suppose I have a graph having 4 vortex, that is a simple graph. So the degree of any vortex you choose will be at most 3. It can go here, it can go here, it can go here, right? So there can be 3 edges possible from one vortex. Because the graph is simple, so the maximum number of edges possible is only 3 in this graph. Now suppose this has degree 0. This has degree 0. That means there are no edges adjacent to this vortex. There are no edges adjacent to this black vortex. That means there cannot be any vortex having degree 3. Why? It can maximum go here, it can maximum it can go up to here. I cannot draw an edge from here to this black vortex. That will violate the thing that the degree of V being 0. So you see, there is no vortex. This vortex, it can only go here, it can only go here, and this one also. No vortex has an edge between this and the black vortex. Am I clear what I am trying to say? So if I have a vortex having degree 0, I will have no vortex having degree n minus 1. That is very obvious to prove, by the way. Am I clear? Yes. So let me prove my claim in a more formal manner. So what is my claim? My claim is this. If G has a vortex V of degree 0, then there exists no vortex in G having degree n minus 1. Okay, this is my claim. I am going to prove this claim. So I guarantee you that if I have some vortex V of degree 0, then there exists no vortex in G having degree n minus 1. So we'll prove the claim. So let me prove the claim. Assume the contrary. That means what I am assuming, that is, suppose I am assuming this, but I am also saying that suppose there is some vortex having degree n minus 1. So suppose G has a vortex V with degree V equals to 0 and a vortex U with degree equals to n minus 1. So suppose I am assuming that this is given to us. I am assuming the contradiction to this statement. That means I am assuming, suppose there is some vortex, okay, suppose there is some vortex whose degree is n minus 1. Okay, I am calling that vortex as u. I'll show that this will lead to the contradiction. Okay, I'll show that this will lead to a contradiction. Now how? The answer is very simple. Okay, the answer is very simple. You see, because the degree of u is n minus 1, since degree of u is n minus 1 and G is a simple graph, therefore u is adjacent to every other vortex, right? Because degree is n minus 1, so u cannot be adjacent to itself, so u is adjacent to every other vortex, then only its degree will be n minus 1, because there are no parallel edges, no loops possible, and u cannot be adjacent to itself also. That means there is no loops at all. So u is adjacent to every other vortex, and this implies u is also adjacent to v. Definitely, because v is also the part of that graph, and this will imply degree of v is at least 1, because there is an edge between u and v. That edge will contribute 1 to the degree of v, and this is my contradiction because I had assumed that degree of v is 0. Am I clear with the claim? Hence the claim. You may just write like, therefore there does not exist any vortex having degree n minus 1. So I'll simply write, hence I have proved the claim. So try to understand my point. When I have a vortex having degree 0, so thus I'll just write that one sentence. Thus, if G has a vortex with degree 0, then degree of any vortex u is less or equals to n minus 2, right? Because it cannot be n minus 1, so it should be less or equals to n minus 2 for any u belongs to vortex set of G, or you may just write for any vortex V, or Vg means vortex set of G. Easy. So if I have some vortex having degree 0, there cannot exist any vortex having degree n minus 1. So all the degrees will be less or equals to n minus 2. So similarly I have another claim. So similarly, you will just prove it by yourself. If G has a vortex with degree n minus 1, then degree of any vortex u is greater than 0, that is at least 1, right? I may just write greater or equals to 1. That means if I have some vortex having degree n minus 1, there cannot be any vortex having degree 0. You may start accordingly and do the proof. So I am assuming that I have a vortex having degree n minus 1. So my claim is degree of any vortex is definitely 1. It cannot be 0 for any u belonging to the vortex set of G. So these two things will be very much crucial for our proof. And we are almost done. Okay. So let me write one last sentence to end few things. Now, just follow these two things and I'll write. Thus, this is very important. Thus, the degree degrees of all the vertices is the degree of all the vertices in G are either in the set this. So they are either in this set. So suppose this set has degree 0, 1, 2 dot 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 up to n minus 2, or in the set this 1, 2 dot 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 n minus 1. So my point is this, you just try to understand. So I'm in this set, suppose I am assuming that I have a vertex in G having degree 0. So if I have some vertex having degree 0, I cannot have any vertex whose degree is n minus 1. It should be all less or equals to n minus 2. So when I have a vertex having degree 0, so all the vertices, degree of the vertices can be at most n minus 2. There will be no n minus 1 possible. And similarly, when I am assuming that G has a vertex having degree n minus 1, so there cannot be any vertex having degree 0. Am I clear? So like the degrees will either, so the degrees of G will either lie in this set, or the degree of all the vertices of G will lie in this set. One here is not possible. Remember that, okay? So either the degrees will lie in this set completely, or the degrees of all the vertices will lie in this set completely. Now the idea is very simple. Now you try to understand my mind. How many numbers are there in this set? Who can tell me? How many numbers are there in the first set? So now here is an interesting thing. This is a set having n minus 1 elements. It's very simple, no? How many numbers are there from 1 to n minus 2? N minus 2 numbers, and you are adding 0. So plus 1 number, that is n minus 1 number. And here clearly n minus 1 numbers are there. This is a set of all natural numbers from 1 to n minus 1. So how many numbers are there? N minus 1. So degrees will either lie in here, in this set, or degrees will lie here. Both of this set has n minus 1 elements. Try to understand my point. Both of this set has n minus 1 elements. So okay, but how many vertices are there? There are n vertices. So n vertices and n minus 1 numbers, n minus 1 degrees possible. Let's look at this set firstly. So I have n vertex, and each vertex will definitely take one number from here, right? Because degree will be from this set only for the time being. Okay, so there are n vertices and only n minus 1 numbers to choose. That means there will be at least 2 vertices having the same degrees, choosing the same numbers. Similarly for this set, if the degrees lies in this set, again the same logic. There are n vertices, but they have to choose among these n minus 1 vertices. At least 2 vertex has to choose the same number. Am I clear? Or another way to explain, I have few red color pen, yellow color pens, green color pens, and blue color pens. Right? I have some red color pen, blue color, yellow color pens, green color pens, and blue color pens. And you all are 5 in number. Mind it. So if I ask you to choose pens, from each one of you to choose a pen, what you will do? So suppose Angel chooses red, Rajkamal chooses yellow, Shinkala chooses green, Rajiv chooses blue. Now it's Elma's turn. So Elma has to choose either red, yellow, green, blue. In that case, Elma is having, like, if Elma chooses red, she is having the same color pen as that of Angel. Am I clear? So when there are 4 pens but 5 persons, then at least one has to choose the same color pen. Am I clear? This is exactly the same case here. N vertices, n minus 1 numbers. So there should be at least 2 vertices choosing the same number. Am I clear? So let me write that very formally. So this is how I'll write very formally. Just a minute, yeah. So let v1, v2, vn belongs to vg. Vg means vertex set of the graph G. These are the vertices of my graph. Then either for all I running from 1 up to 1 to n, okay, so degree of vi belongs to the first set, which is 0, 1, 2 n minus 1, n minus 2, not n minus 1, or for all I running from 1 to up to n, degree of vi belongs to 1 to up to n minus 1, right? Thus, so they use something called as pigeonhole principle. So what is pigeonhole principle? What I said, that if there are five persons and only 4 color pens to choose, then at least there are 2 persons which will choose the same color pen. Okay, so this is what is called as a pigeonhole principle. Anyways, I will not be writing this down. Thus, there exists I and j 1 lesser equals to I less than j lesser equals to n. That means I less than j means I and j are different. They cannot be equal. You may also write this, or you may write that I not equals to j. Okay, such that degree of vi is same as degree of vj. So this will happen. This will happen for sure. This is guaranteed by the pigeonhole principle, which I did not state it very formally. Hence there exist at least two vertices having the same degree. And this completes the proof of our theorem. If you have any doubt, feel free to ask. Now I am ready to answer one of the problems that I had posed in the first class, that what kind of problems graph theory can answer. Now remember, I had posed one question. This was the question: in any gathering of n people, n is more than 1, of n people, there exist at least 2 persons having same number of friends. So this was one of the problem that I had posed in the first class, in the first video, right? So now you have the answer to this problem using graph theory. So suppose I have n people. I'll just explain the answer to this question. I'll not do it very formally. So suppose I have n people, and I'm not drawing on. Suppose there are n people. Okay, I'll draw this n people as n vertices. So I have n people. I'm drawing that as n vertices. Okay, and suppose if 2 persons are friends, I will draw a line between them. Suppose these 2 persons are friends. Suppose this and this is a friend, and so on. So that will, so if I take this into a graph theory problem, so suppose I am showing people by vertices of that graph, and if 2 persons are friends, I will draw a edge between them. I'll draw an edge between them. So if these two are not friends, I will not draw an edge. So this is just a simple graph, because a person cannot be friends with himself or herself, so there cannot be any loops. and there cannot be parallel edges. Parallel edges means nothing here, right? Like if they are friends, I'll draw a line. So drawing two lines between the same two persons makes no sense. So this information converted into a graph theory problem is actually giving rise to a simple graph. So this is a simple graph. And just now we did a theorem. What was the theorem? That in any simple graph, there are at least two vertices having equal number of equal degrees. That means there are at least two persons having equal number of friends. Am I clear or not clear? So here also you can see these two persons have these three persons have same number of friends, because one friend and one friend, and which we have proved. But in general also we can prove this is just the application of the above theorem. It is just the application of the above theorem, nothing else. So this will not be asked basically, but this is just for knowledge, how you have gathered things and how you are applying this to some real life problems. Okay, so in any gathering now we can guarantee that there are at least two friends, there are at least two persons having same number of friends. So this is what I mean by a simple graph. And remember one thing in simple graph, a simple graph will definitely have two vertices having equal degrees. So we have done so many properties regarding graphs. We now define more kinds of graphs. So till now we have defined a general graph, then I have defined a regular graph. Remember, k-regular graph, the degree of each vertex is k, then that is known as a k-regular graph. And then I define something called as simple graph, having no loops, having no parallel edges. Now I define something called as complete graph. So please write down complete graph. So what I write is something called as complete graph. What can be the possible definition? What do you think? Any guesses? What can be the possible definition of a complete graph? No. Something more, Angel. Something more. So a graph is said to be a complete graph if there exists an edge between in every pair of vertices. That means there is no vertex, like, yeah, somewhat Angel was correct only, more or less, but there should be a vertex, there should be an edge between every pair of vertex. There should not be any vertex remaining. No, like Angel was not correct, just saying that is not enough, because what I mean is, suppose my graph has 5 vertices, then there should be an edge between first vertex to second vertex, first vertex to third vertex, first vertex to fourth vertex, first to fifth. Then second will make edge with every possible vertex and so on. So let me write down the definition. So first of all, a complete graph should be a simple one. So a simple graph with n vertices. So suppose I have a simple graph having n vertices is called a complete graph, is called a complete graph, on n vertices, a complete graph on n vertices if, so this condition holds, if, what I said, this, there is an edge between every pair of distinct vertices. Every pair of distinct vertices. So this is very important thing to note. There is an edge between every pair of distinct vertices. So there should not be like suppose if I give you 3 vertices. I have a simple graph with 3 vertices. Now there should be an edge between, suppose I am calling this V1, calling this V2, calling this V3. So there should be an edge between V1 and V2, V1 and V3. Nothing else, right? Then there should be an edge between V2 and V1 already drawn, and V2 and V3. Done. And there should be an edge between V3 and V2 and V3 and V1. Done. So between any distinct pair of vertices, there should be an edge. Then only it is a complete graph. Similarly, if I give you four vertex, so how will the complete graph look like on four vertices? So one, there should be an edge, there should be an edge, there should be an edge, right? Now for this one, I have already drawn an edge. I am drawing an edge, and from here to here there should be an edge. And from this one also this. You choose any vertex. These are my vertices. This is not a vertex, remember that. This is just the intersection point like that. So this is my complete graph on four vertices. This is my complete graph on three vertices. Now you see, if I draw this graph, is this graph a complete graph? Is this graph a complete graph? Yes or no? So there is no edge between the vertex 2 and vertex 4. So this is, if I give this graph a name, suppose I am giving this a graph name as G. So G is not a complete graph. Not a complete graph. Okay, this is not a complete graph. Whereas this black graph and this red graph, they are complete. They are complete. Okay, so I'll try to give a name for the complete graph. So I'll denote the complete graph by letter K. I'll keep this symbol fixed for a complete graph. So I'll use a capital letter K for a complete graph. So this is a complete graph K. This is also a complete graph K. But this is a complete graph on three vertices. So I'll call this graph as K3. And this is a complete graph on four vertices. So this is a complete graph on four vertices. So I'll just make a note of this, that so this is the note, a complete graph on n vertices is denoted by K with a subscript n. So remember, when I write K4, you should understand what I am talking about. I will no more justify what I mean by K4, what I mean by K3, what I mean by K100. You should be very much clear. If I am talking about K100, you must be clear that I am talking about a complete graph having 100 vertices. This is note number 1. What is note number 2? In a complete graph Kn, degree of any vortex is how much? You are going to tell me. Degree of any vortex is how much? Degree of any vortex is n-1. Exactly n-1, because I am talking about a complete graph. So if my graph has 4 vertices, each vertex should be adjacent to every other vertex. So in this case, each vertex will have a degree 3. You can see this picture and understand. You see, each vertex has degree 3, degree 3, degree 3, degree 3. Similarly, it is K3. Each vertex has degree 2. So you remember this, in a complete graph, degree of any vertex is n-1. Thus I can also say that a complete graph Kn is a n-1 regular graph. So what I mean by n-1 regular graph? I have already given you the definition of a regular graph. So degree of every vertex having n-1. Am I clear up to here? So let me give you something as your task. Still the class is not complete. I'll teach one more thing. Draw the graph K2. I've already done K3 and K4. You draw K2, K5 and K6. You will draw this graphs and send it to me personally. Okay, K2, K5 and K6. So you have to draw a complete graph on 2 vertex, complete graph on 5 vertex and complete graph on 6 vertex. And just for your knowledge that a complete graph on 3 vertex, is also called as a triangle. And now you know why it is known as a triangle, because K3 exactly looks like a triangle. So I can also talk about a triangle sometimes. So you understand I'm talking about K3. I'm talking about K3 when I'm talking about a triangle. So this is a triangle having 3 angles. Triangle. Okay. Now my question being, just think. Okay, just think. You think about any complete graph. Suppose K3, suppose K4. So without drawing the graph, can you tell me the number of edges in that graph? So if I give you K100, I am not asking you to draw K100. That will be a very hectic job for you all. But I am asking you, you please tell me how many edges will K100 have? Just think, can you answer this question? So in general, how many edges are there in a complete graph Kn? Do you have the answer to this question? If you think, it's very simple. The idea is very simple. You consider Kn. I'll just give you the, I'll not prove it formally. I'll give you this as a home task. I'll just give you the idea. Then, suppose, so you know what is the number of vertices here? N. So degree of any vertex V is how much? N minus 1 for all V belonging to the vertex set of Kn. This you know. Just now I said. Now use the Euler's theorem. What was Euler's theorem? That sum of all the degrees 2 times the number of edges. So summation of all the degrees, this V is coming from the vertex set, and this summation should be same as 2 times the number of edges. I'm just giving you a very informal way of doing the proof, but this is the idea behind it. Each term is n minus 1. Okay, and V belongs to, actually there is no V, I should write it. V belongs to 2 times the number of edges. I'm talking the, yeah, very good Rajay. I'm suppose number of edges I'm denoting like this, H set of Kn. Okay, so what is this? Each term of this summation is n minus 1, and how many terms are there? As many vertices are there in Kn. So how many vertices are there in Kn? N vertices. So I am adding n minus 1 n times. That means I am multiplying n minus 1 by n. 2 times the number of edges. So what is the number of edges? So number of edges is exactly n minus 1 by 2. Right? So this is one way of doing things. Another way of proving this is again very simple. So the number of edges in Kn is exactly nc2. Why? Because you have to draw an edge between every distinct pair of vertices. That means this is a problem of choosing 2 things out of n different things. When I'm choosing them, I'm drawing a line between them. So number of edges in Kn is nc2. If you compute the value of nc2, n minus 1 by 2 factorial, which is 2. This is another way of doing it. So I've shown you 2 proofs, but in a very informal manner. You will write the proofs in a very formal manner by yourself. I'll check. Again, you can send me personally after doing the proof. So take this as a note. So you remember I calculated the number of edges. Let me calculate the number of edges in K4. So answer will be 4 into 4 minus 1 by 2. How much? 6. So if you carefully see how many edges did I draw while drawing K4? There are 6 edges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I can easily tell you how many edges will be there in a complete graph. Am I clear or not clear?